The Championships Day 2 with some breaking news after we actually recorded this podcast.
Yes. What are your thoughts on dual acceptors?
Not a big fan. One, a tissue. Now, you were given a bung steer by the stable that they were heading to the Queen Elizabeth, but they've actually accepted in the Queen of the Turf. So, bit of a caveat before we preview that race.
Yes. So, just so you know, Drifters, I've made an absolute fool of myself again. Look, it's not the first time, certainly won't be the last. But all of that aside, fantastic day of racing. I think there's some shorties that will get the job done this weekend, but I tell you what, there's a couple of roughies that we've pointed out on the podcast, so you'll have to listen to find out who they are. One in one of the big races.
Well, one of the big races, but one of the big races in country Victoria as well. So
yes.
Best of the day sort of areas.
Yes.
At each way odds sort of areas.
Yes, 100%. So heading regional, going to Bendigo this weekend. We'll have to have a catch up with the Victorian victim later on in the week to see if he's bothered to venture out there. Lots to look forward to, mate. And then before you know it, it's going to be up to the Sunshine State for the Winter Carnival.
See, I Wish I Win up here and others. It's all good stuff. But all that aside, mate, let's focus on this weekend.
Yeah.
Because there's some good betting opportunities this weekend. Where would you have your wager?
Oh, mate, definitely with the good people at Ned's. They've been very kind to me this autumn. I'll tell you that much for free. Look, you can do everything that you would want to do when it comes to wagering with the good people at Ned's. You can get weird and exotic on their app. You can chuck on this Ned's Same Race Multi, which is probably what you want to do for some of the races this weekend. There's also the Ned's Profiles, mate.
Yes, and if you've been a switched-on drifter like some of our listeners now, gamble responsibly, bet only what you can lose, that sort of stuff. But after one of our April previews, Futures Markets previews, I put out a one on my profile, which is still live.
Yes.
Now, two of the remaining three legs, one is Salino in the Sydney Cup and one's Zardozi in the Oaks. They only need to place.
I'm not asking for much.
But that thing's going at 600 to 1. So it does pay to listen and follow the Ned's profile sometimes.
Yes. We've been tipping out some at big odds that have not been jumping at said odds. So it definitely pays to listen, mate. Let's get into it.
Yeah. But what are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
I need to ask you a question. Be curious, Drifters.
Mr. Brightside spins the ball and wins again. Zardozi wins the Oaks for J-Mac. The photo finish. Mr. Brightside or Romantic Warrior.
The mare's going. Great guns. Fangirl. Look at her go. Fangirl.
Imperatrice has got her. And raced on by Imperatrice by a length.
Overpass. More Baker's Delight in Perth.
Radina just won it, I'd say. Tom Kedden won the spring champion in a cakewalk.
Without a fight, won the Caulfield Cup.
How we're going to start this is a little game of what would you rather. Now, would you rather 668,896 Zinger Boxes or the Winx filly?
The Zinger Boxes every day of the week.
Okay. 86.5 kilos of gold or the Winx filly?
When you say gold, do you mean Forex gold or actual gold bullion?
Gold bullion.
Well, not interested then.
And I've rounded this one up a little bit, but 3 houses in Bondi, like average houses in Bondi, or the Winx filly?
Oh, the house in Bondi. Like,
10 million, mate.
yeah, it's a lot of cash, isn't it?
10 million. It is absolutely absurd. Apparently double the next highest in history.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Big money. Big money for a filly. Winx was special, mate.
Yeah, she clearly was.
She was special.
Well, I wonder what Black Caviar's first went for.
That's a good question. I know that the one that went for 5 mil was a full brother to Black Caviar.
Okay.
Here's one for you. So Black Caviar's dam, Helsing, is also the dam of a colt, a stallion by the name of All Too Hard. All Too Hard is Alligator Blood's dad and also Forbidden Love's dad, just as an example.
Okay.
And All Too Hard beat Pierro in the Caulfield Guineas when Pierro started as a $1.22 favourite. And Pierro is the father of Winx's child.
Sheesh.
It's just all connected, isn't it?
It is.
Interlinked. And who went on to run in that Cox Plate? Pierro and All Too Hard did. Who beat them? Ocean Park. Ocean Park beat them. It's Kovalika's daddy. It's Colding's daddy. A few others.
Look at you go.
You know, just
Encyclopedic knowledge.
just rattling them off.
Okay.
When there's stallions involved and colts involved, mate, I'm going to know about it. otherwise not interested.
Well, I think you, in particular, pay close attention to the Cox Plate winning size.
Yes, you gotta respect them.
Absolutely. Now, we did ask the drifters, what would you call this filly? Now, there was some silly people out there just naming them after themselves. One person who will remain nameless said, I have a giant nutsack. I don't think it will be named that, considering it's a filly. Josh Buttonshaw, $1 trillion baby. And he also said it would look better in Snowden silks just quietly. As Burden, you'll like this one, 10 milli filly.
The 10 milli filly. I like that.
Yeah. Mitch Coop, Perry Wynn, Perry Winx, possibly 10 mil in the hole. One Craig Sneesby, Wanks.
Get your mind out of the gutter, son.
And Chuka, Pinks.
Yeah, okay. Have you thought of any?
Peerless. I reckon Peerless or Double or Nothing because she was double the next.
Yeah, I like that. Jess Mitchell of number one ticket holder fame said winning pair.
Winning pair?
Because, you know, Winx, Pierro,
yeah,
both winners, winning pair.
Pocket aces?
Yep.
Something like that?
Yep.
Okay.
As long as she's not called Winnie, which is what Deb Capete's been nicknaming her, I don't really care.
Well, her nickname would be Pooh.
But there's a chance she could be Poo Poo. It doesn't matter. Like,
well, it's just like it was on the 6 o'clock bulletin. You know what I mean? It's put racing on the forefront, which I'm all for.
Yeah, and look, if Deb Capetis of significant wealth due to chicken
of Ingham fame,
can I just say God bless the Ingham family because they supply K-Fry, and as an avid fan of the Colonel,
yeah,
I've got to respect the Inghams, and you know those Cerise silks have been brilliant for Australian racing for a long time, for generations.
100%.
So if Deb Capenis wants to drop Capenis, sorry Deb, I know you listen. We'll chat later. If Deb Capetis wants to drop 10 milli on that filly,
yeah,
mate, power to her. And I'm, you know, there's probably a lot of punters out there who are saying like cost of living issue in Australia and people are spending this gross amount of money on horse flesh. It's absolutely ludicrous. It's disgusting. Do you know what I say to those people? Get a grip, mate.
Get a grip.
Sort your own backyard out, eh?
100%.
But look, I hope she makes it to the track. But at the same time, like I've probably got absolutely no expectations of it at all, and I don't think anyone should.
I've said to some people at work who have zero clue about racing, myself included.
When I look in the mirror,
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she never makes it to the track.
Yeah, no, because that's statistically speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've just completely separate to this because I'm fascinated by this Zinger Burger chat. So 600, what did I say? 668,896 Zinger boxes.
Yeah.
Now, I was like, is that seems like a high number, $10 million worth. Would that be like the yearly like output for KFC in Australia for a Zinger box?
No. 600,000 Zinger boxes a year.
Yeah.
Nah, they're doing more than that.
Okay, because I've had a look, right?
They're doing more than that.
I've had a look. So they've so that's 1,800. So that number divided by 365. That's 1,832, I think. Now 1,832. Now there's 760 KFC restaurants in Australia.
So you're basically saying they're doing 2.5 Zinger boxes each.
Well, that's
a day.
That's where I've like gone like, how many Zinger boxes are we doing a day?
How many chickens are being slaughtered for our consumption?
All right, how many? What's the average you reckon per restaurant per day?
Zinger boxes.
Average.
Oh,
like 20, 30?
Oh, well, I think that'd be their number one thing that go on sale. So I think it'd be closer to 50. I'm a bit biased, but I reckon 50.
Okay, let's 760 times 50. So that's 38,000 rather, times 365. 13,870,000 Zinger boxes sold in Australia per year. That is an absurd. That's half our population.
You gave me $1 for every Zinger box that's sold annually in Australia. I could have knocked Deb Capitas off her perch at the sales and gone in with a big 13 mil. Ah! DJ, how did you get this money? Well, I had a little challenge with my mate Hutcho, and I said, give me $1 for every Zinger box that's sold. And he didn't believe me.
Yeah, he took out 3 mortgages to pay him. 3? Far out, more like however many. Yeah, wild. That's a lot of Zinger boxes, mate, and a lot of cash for a unraced yearling.
But mate, Winx was special. Winx was like, to put in perspective, drifters. If you're a late comer to the great game of horse racing, like if you're a young man and you didn't really, you weren't really across the game when she was going around, because we're getting on a bit from when she last raced, like 5 years, right?
Yeah.
To put it in perspective, like if you put Winx in that, what's a hectic race that we've had so far this autumn, like Pride of Jenny in the All-Star Mile, like phenomenal
Australia Cup,
phenomenal race.
Yep.
If you put Winx in those races, like let's look at Pride of Jenny in the All-Star Mile with 50 meters to go. Winx could have been a length off her and beat her by 3 lengths.
Yeah.
With 50 meters to go. Like, that might be exaggerating a little bit, but that's how good she was.
Yeah, I reckon a length off beats her by 1.5.
Yeah.
Not 3.
That's
3.
That spanks her.
That's black caviar sort of stuff.
But that's how good she was.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's a reason that she has 4 plates. 4 of them.
4 of the fuckers.
4 Queen Elizabeth?
3. Because she ran in the Doncaster.
Oh yeah. Okay. She has a Doncaster in one pocket.
She has 25 Group 1s.
33 wins in a row.
That's years undefeated for years. Drifters, like you just need to comprehend how special that is.
Yeah, where we're talking like some of the greats that we've seen over the last few years. Right, Nature Strip. He's the best sprinter since Black Caviar.
Yeah,
and he'd go down every second start.
Yeah,
the punters could not find him.
They couldn't.
But he was still considered one of the best. You look at these TJ wins; he was braining them by 3 lengths.
Very elegant.
VE.
Winx would have brained her.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Like my guy.
Yeah.
Animo. Winx would have pulled his pants down and give him a smack bottom and said, no stud for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm spanking you.
But this is the thing, right? So we say on this podcast, like some of the best ones, they get their head in front and then they turn off. She didn't. She went, see ya. And she brained him by 6 legs. Because she just liked being fast. But you also saw it. It was either there was a red horse that was leading one day. It had red in the name. Or it was either the Fox Play race.
Yeah.
Where she basically, and Bowman said this, where she beat the rest of them and thought the job was done. She actually stopped and then she actually saw the other one. She's like, oh, okay, job's not done. Saw it, picked it up and was like, see you, bruh. Like, incredible.
An incredible athlete. The best ever.
So if we go to this weekend of racing, Queen Elizabeth's the highlight, isn't it?
It is.
Fascinating contest, isn't it?
I reckon it's a cracking race, mate.
Yeah. I think it is definitely buoyed by the Australia Cup horses coming up here. But I think there's better setups. It's a better setup than what it was looking because, you have the International Raider with Via Sistina and Place du Carousel, who are fascinating mares who are clearly jumped off the plane in good form. But then you have Kovalika finally finding the 2,000 metres from the Doncaster.
Shit.
Linda Mann, who's better suited here as well in the quick backup. Buckaroo probably gets his best setup at the prep now on soft ground, 2,000 metres, with a couple of runs under his belt. Then you have the, first three of the first five, four of the first five past the post in the Australia Cup in Mr. Brightside Cascadian, Pride of Jenny and a Tissue. And then you have the 3-year-old Cheerwolf as well as a little added bit of flavour.
Fascinating. I like that Joe Pride's put Cheerwolf in this race.
I don't.
You don't?
Nah.
I like his throw at the stumps.
I think he has none. Because he was running on well for second against Riff Rocket at 2,000 metres, but I think there's a different gravy here.
Oh, this is a completely different gravy, but it's like, give him a crack.
Yeah. I don't know. I have not put him in my consideration.
Oh, no, not at all. He's not in my numbers, but I like the fact that he's like, you know what?
Yeah. If he had the inside run that Riff Rocket had last week and not looped him, I could see that for sure. But you're asking a hell of a lot of a 3-year-old colt.
You are. He's a tabby stock, so it should be tough. But it could make him or break him, Cheerwolf. But
I've heard that this could be the last time we ever see Cascadian at a racetrack.
It could be, yeah.
He could go out a winner.
Yeah, he's not the worst at $9. Yeah, I love the fact that Pride of Jenny's in this race again, because we spoke about this in the Australia Cup and the All-Star Mile, is that she's the best thing that happened to our Wait for Age ranks for a while, because you know the pace is going to be on, and it sets up a thrilling finish.
It does,
like we got in the Australia Cup. I think there's a couple here who can run it down though.
Yeah,
namely the favourite Via Sistina.
Yeah,
like if anything, if she takes any improvement out of that Rambit Stakes.
I think she might.
And if she prefers the sort of setup where it's a truly run race, not a sit and sprint like it was in the Randwick, what are we going to see?
I don't know.
I think we're going to see probably the best performance of the autumn for mine. She's $2.25 now, like really short in the market. Doesn't matter to me though.
Well, it literally pays to listen.
It literally pays to listen
sometimes. Because, you know, if you listen early to our, what do you call it? The April Futures Market podcast, where we covered this market and we said that this thing's a bet at $7 or $8 or whatever the hell it was, then you could have a bet at a Cascadian or a Mr. Brightside or a Place to Carousel if you so wanted at those larger odds, and then you're laughing.
Absolutely, you're laughing. So,
because believe it or not, we're in this industry, you and me, to turn a profit in this game.
Look, we're just a couple of battlers, really. Like we're like you drifters, if you're listening. We're just a couple of guys who are recreational punters, like to have a throw at the stumps on a Saturday, and ideally come out of it in one piece. Like as much as we talk about the good people at Ned's, ultimately we want to take them for a ride. Ultimately. So look, she's the clear on top selection for me, because I love the fact that, you know, J-Mac was talking about that, you know, she's improved in the coat. Her work's been brilliant. I like that she's got a turn of foot, because that suits that Group 1 racing, because it works if it's a truly run race or if it's a sit and sprint. Clear on top selection for me. Draws a gate as well, just to top it all off. And there's nothing about her race in Rose Hill that suggests to me that she won't like Randwick.
That's the thing. Is like there's the way this thing was backed on the day. Like there was there like $3.80 when we were doing the podcast on the Wednesday?
Yeah, something like that.
Outrageous.
Between $3.50 and $4.
It was crazy stuff. And the way she was backed, like I can't see her starting like longer than $2.30. She's $2.25 now with the good people at Ned's. I reckon she starts around that same price, if not shorter. The one they come for, I think, is Pride of Jenny, because, you know, she is going to be the bunny to chase.
Rails out.
You know, is that you never know because like with that heavy track, is the track like torn up? Is it going to be hard to make ground? But the best ground could be out wide where this girl could have that tactical advantage as in Via Sistina. But the reason why I'm taking on Pride of Jenny myself is we've seen it with Animo, and we've seen it with other really good milers where their second run at 2,000 metres really finds them out. So where she was fantastic in the Australia Cup, she was absolutely sensational, but I need to see it again at 2,000 metres because if she runs a similar race, then it's like, okay, she ticks that box. She's just absolutely bulletproof to an extent. So I've got Via Sistina on top as well. I have Cascadian running second because I think he's almost the forgotten horse in this race because if with Pride of Jenny in the field again, the tempo is going to be up there. It's going to suit him. He's proven it like time and time again. And I think it's taken Godolphin a long time to figure this horse out. Basically, mate, look at his stats at the 2,000 metres. 5 runs, 3 wins, 1 second. And he's never been at 2,000 metres back-to-back. They've always like targeted him once at the 2,000 metres.
Loves Randwick as well.
Loves Randwick. So, you know, and he gets through any going. So I think he's a silly price at $9 again. He's my second pick. Kovalika could do anything in this race. I think it might be probably a little bit too much of a jump for him because he was clearly targeted towards that Doncaster, but I wouldn't be surprised if he ran a really bold race. And then the other, the Irish mare, Place to Carousel. So I think she's in with a good chance as well.
Yeah, pretty much the same top 4, but take out Cascadian and chuck in Pride of Jenny. Like, in my mind, despite the fact that, you know, she's going at the 2,000 again, just with her racing style, like, it's going to take a smarty to run her down. And will there be more than 3 who run her down? I don't think so.
Yeah, so fair.
That's my logic.
Yeah, so you're penning Mr. Brightside at 2,000 metres?
I'm not penning him because it's 2,000 metres. I think he needs, for 2,000 metres, to be a top 3 chance. If this was being raced at Moonee Valley or Caulfield.
Yeah. He does love Randwick, though.
He does.
At the mile.
At the mile, yeah. I think
that's the thing.
Yeah, so
cut out of the ground suits him.
It does.
First time you got $10 for a Mr. Brightside in a long time.
And last time he was a good price was in the Cox Plate and nearly won it. And I was keen on him then and sort of was a bit off him towards the end of the week. But will the opposite happen here? Maybe.
Yeah.
He just from that gate, he has to go towards the back. And I just think we saw last start that he probably prefers a sit and sprint over 2,000 metres.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I've mapped it where Via Sistina will be in front of him midfield, 2 off the fence. So Brightside will be behind her. And I don't think he runs past her.
Not over 2,000 metres, no.
Yeah.
She showed that turn of foot. She showed
yeah.
And this is the thing. All we can do as punters is look at the last start and the body of work, right? And if Via Sistina shows up and doesn't show anything that she showed us in the Randwick, then yeah, $2 is way too short. But there's nothing to suggest that she won't.
No.
So you just got to go with your gut.
So be it. Race 6 is the Oaks, the Australian Oaks, 2,400 metres, Group 1 for the fillies. Orchestral is $1.60 again. Pretty much copy and paste this market and throw in an Autumn Angel, a Basilina. But, you know, there's some really, really long shots down the bottom here. It's basically I have it as about a 6-horse race. Basically, the first 6 in entry.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd agree with that. Too short. Way too short.
Again.
Yeah. Way too short. On top selection, like, I think she wins the race, but there's no way in hell you'll see me diving in.
No.
Because while she was good in the Vinery, all of the same things that I thought about the Vinery apply here, right? She's been up for a long time. You know, she's had, this will be what, the 3rd or 4th grand final in a row?
Yeah. Well, from the NZ Derby to the Vinery to this.
Yeah. So a lot to ask of her. You know, if she wins this again and wins it convincingly, then yeah, she's a star. But you're not going to have me diving in $1.60. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. I think what we will see, I reckon, is one of like Dances with Hooves or Bush Girl on the quick backup. One of those, I reckon, will basically horse trainers aren't stupid. They're going to see what happened in the vinery and how is that such a sedate pace that I'm fully expecting that one of those will be 6 lengths in front of the other. Because at $126 or 200 to 1, what do you have to lose? Like
literally nothing.
So what was that thing that Abdullah rode in the VRC Oaks one year? And, you know, he was like 20 lengths in front of him.
Oh, yeah. Can't remember, but yeah.
Anyway, they could do one of those, you know. So it's like I do think that there might be a bit more tempo put in this contest than what there was last start, given how many roughies there are in the field, and there'll be a bunny to chase. So I think I'm not going to jump off Zardozi. Like, yes, she wasn't suited by the sit and sprint. Yes, they probably showed their hand, accepting in the derby as well, that they're pretty scared of Orchestral. But mate, at $5. I'm not jumping off now.
No, you'd be silly too. My concern with Zardozi is Orchestral's showing that she loves a fast run race as well, and I know where they're going to be in the running. You know, Zardozi's going to have to make up a length or two on Orchestral, so that's my concern. But but with the $5 on offer, like what? Why the hell not? What do you think's the best value play in the race? Quintessa.
Yeah, Quintessa or Basilina. I think Basilina, if you like Autumn Angel, she was super last week. She was absolutely sensational. Basilina was basically a head away from her 2 starts ago, and you're getting, what, three times the price? 3 times the price. So, and Basilina ran a really solid race in the Oaks, but she was still beating 6 lengths. So, but Basilina, I think, could run a decent race, but you know, mate, it's gonna be tough to. I think Orchestral and Zardozi run in the top 3, and then you know any of the other 4 of those top 6 run the place. You know,
I could see Autumn Angel running a big race here. Not saying she necessarily wins.
Queensland Oaks,
quick backup, quick freshen up. Queensland Oaks starts very short.
Yeah.
Or SA. Oaks starts very short.
Yep.
And you're just worried that, you know. I guess she's only 4th up here, right? So maybe Mood's in the back of his mind thinking, you know, have a throw at the stumps here. And
maybe that's what they're doing with Molly Nickers, actually.
Maybe.
Yeah, Molly Nickers for the SA, I reckon SA, and then you probably don't lose anything if you target both of them towards a Queensland Oaks.
Probably not. I think Autumn Angel's a great shout in this race, but there's not a big difference in price between her and Zardozi. I know who I'd rather be with.
Yeah. And, you know, that Antrim Coast, you know, Orchestral beat that thing.
Kiwi form.
And Quintessa lost to Antrim Coast. So, like, the form lines through Orchestral are delicious. They are so good. So, clear favourite, but I'm going to take her on. Sydney Cup, 3,200 metre Group 1 handicap. Now, as we mentioned on Sunday in the review podcast, Post Impressionist has gone for a spell. And fascinatingly, is that a word?
Don't know.
Sure, let's go.
Let's just keep on rolling with it.
More Felons was the all-in favourite. Doesn't even line up here.
Tendon injury.
Did not see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which would explain why he's not lining up, because like I'd like you to do an ACL and just go play a game of rugby league. Go play a game of rugby league with your ACL torn.
Now, you never wish ill against a horse, right?
No.
But it makes our $51 tickets on Salino look a lot better. Now he's $31 here, so it's like you still haven't missed the price.
But I still think he'll trim up a bit, because people are like, hang on a second.
Mate, I've seen a few people when the Sydney Cup fields came out, there was a lot of people on Twitter going, Salino.
Yeah.
They know. They know.
And I was talking to someone in the ownership group today. I was like, what do you reckon? And he's like, look, they said the exact same thing before he won the Brisbane Cup, and they said the exact same thing before he won the Sydney Cup last time. He's shown us absolutely nothing this entire prep. We can't get a gauge on him. And then he rocks up to the 3,200 metres, and he's just a horse who It just doesn't do anything until he gets to this distance.
You know what? Going through his form profile, because I'm not just going to put like a friend of this podcast, a dear friend in Salino on top just for the sake of it. I have to do my form of this horse, right? Now, one thing with the stays in particular, this is one of my things that I look at in the form, is yes, he's beaten by 11 lengths first up. Okay, what was he beaten up by second up when he steps up in distance? Okay, he's improved by 1.1. He was beaten 10. At the 2,600 metres, third up, he was beaten by 7. So he's making some lengths up. So he's trending in the right direction. He's going okay. Now, the other thing I look at as well, I'd like to see how many of these runs anti-clockwise he's actually had at 3,200 metres, maybe 2 Melbourne Cups. But he's not in that class.
No.
But I don't think he gets around on his Melbourne leg as good as he does on his Sydney leg. He's won, He's won 3 times over the 3,200 metres, all on his Sydney leg. Mate, Barry 9, Tommy Berry is going to,
stoke the fire from about 1,200 metres out.
Yeah. Watch exactly what Nash did in the Brisbane Cup. Copy and paste. And then, he breaks a drought. He's Group 1 drought for about 2 years anyway as well.
I think he can win.
100% he can win.
100% he can
I've got him on top.
Yeah, for a laugh, I have as well. Because the thing is, I'd rather have him on top than, try and find Ash Run, which is my second selection at $5.50, who could definitely win this race. Ran 4th in the Melbourne Cup, won the Pakenham Cup, was good in the Tancred and pulled up lame. So he's the clear danger for me. But that's no fun. You know what I mean?
Especially with these stays, mate.
Oh, mate.
It's anything could happen. Circle of Fire, good up-and-coming stayer. Now, he was chewing his bloody head off. He was a naughty boy last weekend over the 2,600 metres. Quick backup. We've seen that claim a horse or two. But, 51.5 kilos. He's weighted well. He does have an international jockey on, though. First time.
Interesting.
We've seen that claim some international jocks before as well. But you're probably, he's one of the best in Hong Kong, I believe. So you don't really lose anything there. But I kind of want to see him do it too.
Yeah, he was playing up a little bit last start, wasn't he? He's still good enough to win, and he can win this. But, I'm not going to dive in at $5 in this field.
No, there's horses around here, right? And I want to get weird in this race, but are mostly cloudy. That horse was chasing down Mark Twain at Flemington last start. And, it's won at the 3,200. It's won over the 3,300 as well. It just wants the ground. So a horse like that I could entertain. A Maid.
I could easily entertain a Maid. Bro ran 4th in the Adelaide Cup.
Yeah.
With a bloody cradle and a jockey the entire time.
Yeah. Old sore balls.
Sawballs, bloody Zach Spain.
Yeah, Zachy Spain.
He's 14s.
He won the Geelong Cup as well. Pretty sure.
You cannot tell me that Manzoice doesn't look super dour.
Mate, that's the thing.
You cannot tell me with 51.5 kilos he won't improve.
No, he's going to improve. This is the grand final. It's he did have a scratching there at one stage, but he's in this.
Yeah.
He's in my numbers as well. I'm putting this first.
Oh, mate, yeah.
I'm putting this trifecta on
100%.
because we are putting some real rough ones on. All right, so horses that are in the market that I'm keen to take on, right? Serpentine.
Why is he going from 2,000 metres to 3,200 metres? What are they doing?
They've learnt their lesson with this horse in Melbourne Cups. He doesn't stay. $11.
They should have sent him for a quick spell, bring him up here, Doomben 10,000, Q22.
Doomben Cup. You've done that again.
Not Doomben 10,000. Doomben Cup, Q22. Because he'd go around as a big price, but that's his gravy.
100%. He was a friend of ours. We spooked him as a top 10 chance, and he finished 10th military mission in the Melbourne Cup. But others preferred. Carlapore. He proved in the Melbourne Cup that he doesn't stay the 2 mile.
No.
I'm happy to let him around
100%.
without me. So for a 30.
Athabascan.
He can run on a bit, Athabascan, but
Definitely run on a bit.
I'm keen to, because the stable have been really keen to get him at the 2 mile for basically 2 preps. So I'm really I would not leave him out of my quaddie, let's put it that way.
Major Beale's been training over the bloody jumps, mate.
Like to see that. Anything funky like that, I love to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, he'll give it a sight. He'll be leading.
Won the Derby last year.
Don't know who that jockey is, though.
Yeah. I don't know who that jockey is, but might be another one. I saw he was on something that I liked earlier in the card, actually. Like Glenn Tanius is fine, but so we've gone through basically the entire field here. But what's your numbers? What's your first 4 here?
Salino on top for me for a laugh, but also he does. This is him.
Like he all right. So he lost by 7 lengths last start. He did the exact same thing leading into the Brisbane Cup.
Yeah,
exact same thing.
Yeah,
and then he gets back on his Sydney leg.
And he won the Brisbane Cup with like 57.5, 58 kilos on his back.
Yeah.
And he's got 54.5 here. Like, he won't know himself. Tommy Berry on. Tommy Berry's due for Group 1.
He is.
So, Salino on top for me. Ash Run, second selection. I made purely because, like, that Adelaide Cup run was something else. And then Man's Ois.
Yeah.
That'll pay anything.
Yeah. Salino, Circle of Fire, he could brain this field. Ash Run, as you said, like 4th in Melbourne Cup, and he's been super this prep. But he's also an old boy. And then Man's Ois. Don't leave him out of anything. Man's Ois. He gives me the not quite the explosive Jack vibe this year, but like that type of mould.
It's the Chris Wallace special.
Yeah. Now, we've covered the Queen Elizabeth, race 9, Queen of the Turf. A lot of these faced each other in the Coolmore Classic, as they typically do.
Mm-hmm.
Zougotcha Barry won J-Mac on at Weight for Age, $3.50. Sounds like a good little recipe, doesn't it?
Dive in.
Dive in,
I reckon, drifters, because the tissue is going to come out of this race.
Are you sure? Because I see that Shin's been booked.
Tissue's going to come out of this race.
Okay.
So she'll run in the Queen Elizabeth. I am 75, 80% confident.
Okay. Because that's basically from when we started to now, that is an update with Shin being booked.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, continue.
So as far as I'm aware, she'll come out of the race and she'll be in the Queen Elizabeth tissue. So, geez, that just makes Zougotcha's life so much easier.
Yeah.
And, yeah, gate 1, sometimes not ideal, but I think in this scenario, great. Rails out. She'll jump. She'll be there or thereabouts. J-Mac will pull her out at the right time. And I think it'll help her run out a strong mile because I'm not convinced she's a miler.
Me neither. Me neither.
But I reckon she'll take a seat just behind Tropical Squall. Wouldn't be surprised if she's the one that they come for on the day. Tropical Squall obviously scratched from the Donny. She was great considering the weight that she had to carry in the Coolmore Classic. So she's the obvious danger. But no, Zougotcha on top for me. Other ones I was looking at, obviously Alentia, but who knows what you're going to get with her. Samana, she was good in the Coolmore Classic as well. But Zougotcha meets her better at the weights. So yeah, straightforward race for me, mate. Really straightforward.
Okay.
Really
Yeah. He just dived right in.
I'm just diving right in.
Mate, I thought Tropical Squall could turn the tables here. Big thing in her favour. She jumped from barrier 17 in the Coolmore Classic. And I think the mile suits her better than what it suits Zougotcha. So I'm kind of like just switching those two. But, Zougotcha is a big friend of this podcast as well, a dear friend. So if she wins, I'll be stoked. And could you imagine if Sneesby Racing has a Group 1 double?
It'd be just like him too.
I don't think he'll fly back.
No, it'd be just like him too.
So, yeah, Tropical Squall, it doesn't get anything in like weight relief on Zougotcha from last start. So I think it's just the barrier. Jules, barrier 3 here versus barrier 17. She'll find the front. She'll dominate up there. And Adam Hippopotamus just can do no wrong. I also had written down in my notes, if you want an alternative form line, I feel like Alentia is the horse for that. But at $9.50, you're getting a price to find out. That's the good thing about her. I could honestly see her come out and win this by like 5 lengths. But she's just so hard to trust. Like that last win was so smart.
Very smart, mate. Very smart. She 100% could. I was looking at alternate form lines and something like an Eternal Flame, mares in form.
Oh, don't you dare.
At 27, it's like, that's what I mean. She wouldn't shock me at all.
Yuck.
But she'd have to improve a fair bit. Aside from that, like, there's nothing that scares me in this race, apart from Tropical Squall. Like if a tissue does end up staying in, like, yeah, obviously she's a chance, but if she comes out, yeah, Zooey. Yeah. A little bit of cut in the ground. Yeah. Really keen.
Osmos has been good this prep, but, you know, this is way harder than what
Rung below.
Yeah, she's been, and she's not one of mine, but, you know, she's been good. She's been hitting the line really well, but, you know, drops from the 1,900 metres down. And then Renaissance Woman has that serpentine form, but, yeah, $61.
No thanks.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to the undercard, eh? Let's go to race 1. Now, if you have a firm opinion in this race, full credit to you, because this is impossible. Impossible.
It is.
I might actually get the random number generator out to see.
Look, I'm just going to trust the form out of the linebacker race, the Anode race, with broadsiding, Jay Cummings, Jay McDonald, but like it's not a betting race for me.
No way.
No way in hell.
No. Now, the random number generator spat out number 6, Kill Care Beach Girl. Now, on speed, Waterhouse Bolt Runner.
1 from 1.
One
Mate,
from
that could
one.
be a bet.
Exactly.
Gate 1, coming out of Wyong.
Sammy Clipperton, who's been probably a little bit quiet of late.
Very quiet.
Yeah. Probably because his number 1 seed hasn't really been doing much this autumn. So, yeah, those two. The one I could, like from a like form and like replay perspective that I could tip you into is Rasp, the other Godolphin runner, Jamie Carr on Son of Street Boss. So, yeah, this colt hit the line really nicely at Wyong. The mile looks to suit. That's all I can give you.
Good to know.
So that's the Fernhill Mile. Now, the South Pacific Classic. Now, I looked at this field, right? You can have your Butch Cassidys, you can have your Amures, Kazards, Robrick, like your Port Lockroys, your He-Mans. Like we've seen all of this before. I feel like getting's pretty weird here. Do you agree?
I think so. Like, I think you're going to be disgusted by what I pick.
Kadinsky Abstract.
I just think a colt, he picked up the midweeker, built up a bit of confidence, bit of weight relief.
$9.50.
$9.50. Oh. I feel that, you know, he's turned a corner.
He fell in a midweek.
He was so down on confidence, the big fella. The full brother to Sunlight. So he went for something absurd, Kadinsky.
2 or 3?
I think close to 3, right? Another full brother was for sale. So Zoostar, buy Zoostar out of Solar Charged. At the English Easter sales, just gone. Didn't go for that much. And I think big boy Kadinsky's got something to do with that. And it was after he won the midweeker as well. So, yeah, the deep pockets of Coolmore were not interested in that one. I'll tell you that much for free. So, but yeah, just got a feeling that Kadinsky was come out and just put him to the sword.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I have a really nice bet in this race.
Okay.
One I'm really keen on. Now, this is the confidence builder for Andrea Adzeni.
Who?
The Hong Kong jock who's on Circle of Fire. Now, on number 12, Lively. Now, this filly has form around Gumdrops and Moesha. Now, she was unlucky not to win that race. She was held up going into that Moonee Valley Bend, and she was hitting the line really nice. Through the line, she was with him. So this is a cracking bet at $17.
Oh, yeah, at that price.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't need to say this again, but I will. Like, you look through these horses in the market, right? They're just no good. Like, this will be one of the last times they compete in like blacklisted races where this filly is on the up. I could see her continuing that path on. So, Barrier 2, Kieran Maher trained, gun jock on, like $17. What do you have to lose? This is a great bet.
Yeah. 17s. There's no risk.
Gum drop form. Moesha came out and won last week.
Yeah, sure did.
All right. The Midway Championships final, 1,400 metres. Now, it's not Group 1, as RaceNet is currently saying to me, but mate, it's basically the Midway, the grand final for the Midway. Now, we previewed the other one last week, which was basically the Highway grand final. Now it's the Midway grand final. Now, if you're a Group 1 kind of form reference type of guy, you'd probably be asking why Straight Acer is $7 in this market, because he was a runner-up in a Silver Eagle of $41, nearly one of the great tips of all time on this podcast last spring. Ran fourth in a Golden Eagle, ran third in the Rupert Clark behind Magic Time and IME, but he hasn't really rediscovered that form this prep. But you're getting $7 to find out. Are you with Straight Acer? Is he one that you're entertaining?
No, happy to take him on. I'm going to back Kim Warren here. She's someone who pops up in races like this.
Shadows of Love?
Shadows of Love, yeah.
Mate, she's been brilliant.
Yeah.
Last 6 starts, 4 wins, 2 seconds.
She's been great. A little bit of concern she's weighted in this race, but I think she deserves it. I really liked her last start. I think from memory, she missed the jump, or missed the kick, or whatever. Anyway, kept on fighting. Eventually won. Beat Willing a Beast. Beat Willing a Freefall. Both those horses are here. Look, they are weighted a lot better than her, but yeah, she's smart. I think Shadows of Love. $8.50, drawn a little bit sticky, but, throw up the stumps.
Yeah, I think the eye can be a bit deceiving because you go like, all right, I'll back Willinga Freefall of those 3 horses because she was charging home, but, mate, she still beat her by 1.5 lengths. Like, Willinga Freefall gets a 1 kilo weight advantage on Shadows of Love, but Shadows of Love, that race, I rewatched all her last 6 replays. Basically, when she's up on speed, just behind the leaders, she doesn't have that really brilliant turn of foot. So from barrier 11, Tommy Berry, I'm tipping him to have a good day. I reckon he'll ride her quiet, and that's where you see the best of her, I reckon. You see a really brutal turn of foot. So
there'll be pace on for a race like this.
Yeah.
Provincial midway, final, they're not going to die wondering. There'll be pace on.
Yeah, like when you're racing, the whips are going to be cracking for a million. So, yep, and then my clear second selection is Willinga Freefall as well. So, but she can run on a bit.
Yeah. Chris Lees, I think, won this race the last 4 editions or last 5 editions.
He's good.
He R&Ps.
He does. And there's one on Cup Day which he R&Ps too.
Yeah.
So he just sees that PVL cash and he just dives right in.
Good trainer.
Yeah. The Percy Sykes, 1,200 metres Group 2 for the 2-year-old fillies. Lady Camelot scratched from the sides last week. Much more suitable race here. Now, I'm all for like trying to find something to find the favourites beat, right? You look at her 4 career starts. She's had 3 every single start has been a really, really good run. But her career debut, she drew awkwardly, and then that was probably her worst career start to date. The other runs here, she's drawn 1 of 7, brained by 3 lengths, nearly broke the track record. Drew barrier 4 in the Blue Diamond, and then she drew barrier 5 in the Golden Slipper. She has to do complete a little bit, have some tactical diversity, I'd say. Barrier 13 of, 16?
Yeah.
Not straightforward.
Not straightforward. It has to give him some weight as well. Like, she's smart and could come out and just absolutely brain him.
Yeah.
But she's short.
$2.30.
Very short.
What's she starting the slipper?
6 or 7s?
Yeah, $6.50.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, if I was to take her on, like the obvious ones to me would be Drifting, obviously, Anisa to bounce back a little bit, and Amina, the filly that I liked last time, who ran second to Be or Not to Be, who's a much better price in this race. But and she's a smart little filly, actually, to be or not to be. So she's probably another one there at 13s. But like none of them are really inspiring me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What did you think?
I thought Amina, yes. I was thinking about this. Amina was in the wrong part of the track at Flemington. Around a bend, she was so good. Was that at Sandown first up?
I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. The Heath. That's right.
Because she was on the inside down the straight, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm happy to forgive that, but she was beaten to like 1.5 lengths. So to be or not to be, you probably, if you like her at the price, like,
yeah, 100%.
I can understand that. We've seen this Blue Diamond form like stack up. Anisa was a super run in that, got way too far back, but that's kind of a pattern. But she does get 4 kilos off Lady of Camelot here, so I could entertain her. But I think the setup for Drifting's really good. Barrier 2 can basically sit off the likes of Lady of Camelot or whoever's leading, which is probably the stablemate, Two Done Lizzie.
Very tough last start.
Very tough. But with Drifting, love that because they had a free ticket into the slipper. Nope, we're not going there. This would be the grand final for them. So yeah. I don't mind that. But I could probably have something really small on her because she, with what this podcast is named as well. And the thing is like, I'll get on now because she doesn't drift. She firms.
Yeah. Drifting does not get on the drift. She gets on the firm.
Yeah. I do think like to that point about Two Done Lizzie, she's drawn to Lady of Camelot's direct inside. So I do think she has a tail into the race like we thought Stormboy would have with Lady of Camelot last week. But obviously that didn't eventuate.
That did not happen at all.
Erno's Cube's a big price too.
Big price. So that's what I mean.
It's not straightforward.
Tricky race, particularly when you've got a $2.35 favourite. Like, yeah, she's a slipper winner. Yeah, she could brain him. But, you know, is this set weights and penalties? Yeah, it's not a handicap. Set weights and penalties.
Yeah.
You know?
I get the same vibe. Now, the Arrow Field.
Great race.
Fantastic race.
Always a good race, actually.
Now, Group 2 for the 3-year-old set weights. Osmosis back in the Derby colours instead of the China Horse Club colours.
They're off him.
$3 favourite. I think he gets a barrier blanket on first time to calm his nerves. All things considered, he ran okay last start.
If you like him,
complete non-event.
Yeah, put a line through that last start. Would I say back with confidence though? Probably not. No. Probably not for Osmosis, particularly as a colt. Like they can just you know, and he could be already breeding barn.
Yeah.
So then you're like, okay, who do I take him on with? And it's a shame she drew the widest barrier effectively, but learning to fly back to 1,200 metres, I really liked her track work this week or last week, whenever it was.
Whenever it was, mate.
Yeah, should be my on toppy selection, $8.50. Jolly Star, first time I've seen her since she won the 1,000 guineas on a track that had effectively a travelator on it if you were leading, and she just became like the most obvious pick of all time as the day went on, Jolly Star. Want to see her first up. Fascinated to know what took her so long to come back. Maybe she had like a training mishap or something.
Maybe. And Chris Wallerhorse's first up for me, no thanks.
Yeah, particularly over like 1,200 metres against like a pretty smart crop.
So, all right. So this filly, like, could she be going to like, I don't know, an Adelaide Carnival or a Queensland Carnival or something?
Potentially,
just getting an early run in.
Potentially. Well, where else do you go, right?
Yeah. Like, yeah, the Sydney Carnival's pretty much done.
Like, do they think she's a Stradbroke horse as a 3-year-old filly? Like that's, or a Tuss Tiara potentially?
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
Don't know. I'm happy to see her do it.
Yeah. The other two, quickly talk about Schwartz, obviously, held up at a pretty key time in that race that Brave Mead won. Rest in peace, Brave Mead. So he's short, but he's definitely a chance. And I think hedged at a big price. He was in that race at Estriella, absolutely brained them. He just got a bit muddled down the straight, and I think a few horses are in his way. So, but I still think he ran on nicely for fifth. So he can bounce back as well at a big price.
If I didn't back this horse, I don't know what I'd do, because he's $17 and he's 3 times the price of Schwartz, and he's gets weight relief on that horse. That's Corniche. That is a stupid price. $17. He was 21s when I was looking at this earlier today. Like, he's a fantastic bet here. Third up, will likely get soft ground. He's 1-on-1. His only career wins come on the soft, but that he beat Shinzo, who was, a Golden Slipper winner later that prep. I think he's a fantastic bet here, Corniche. Barrier 13 does suck a little bit, but there'll be plenty of pace in here, which will bring him into it. He's been the top weight at his both starts this prep, and he's been extremely gallant in how he's run. Gets it on equal weights here. I think he's the forgotten horse at $17.
Who won this race last year? Because I think we've got a history of RNPing this race, mate.
Arrow, yeah, we do.
Because we've picked Paul Ailey, we've picked Marzu.
Yeah, Marzu was the easiest bet of all time.
Yeah.
Last year it was Af Cabin.
Oh, yeah. History of RNPing this race.
Wild Ruler.
Oh, actually, he might have beat Paul. He would have beaten Paul Ailey. Yeah. History of RNPing this race.
Splintex, Classic Legend, Catchy, Darren. Back in the day.
Darren. Wow. Isn't that a blast from the
Mate,
past?
some good horses won this. Rebel Dane.
That's what I mean. It's a smart horses race.
Yeah. This is the one where it could be elevated to a Group 1, you know what I mean? If they so chose.
Yeah. So, undecided, I'm going to say, for this race at the moment. Maybe need to chat to the source later on the week and consult with the victim, because sometimes the victim likes to leave his state and actually experience what real life is. But I could also see Osmosis just coming out and just put him to the sword.
Yeah. But I need to see it. When I've got something I like, it's $17.
But that's no fun if all we did was just back him.
Exactly. Race 10 is the Sapphire Stakes, Group 2 for the fillies and mares, set weights and penalties.
Is this the race that Opal Ridge won last year? A big price.
I don't think so. I have a feeling, I'll look it up after this, I reckon this is the race that Alentia won last year. Yeah, Magic Time was the favourite.
Yep, that's right.
Yes,
I think you're right.
I
think you're right.
Now, red card, $2.45, 1,200 metres now. She's had 3 attempts. She's won once. Now, her last attempt, she was as friendless could be. One of the great drifts of all time. And the money was right. She finished 7th that day. Now, are you back in red card, or are you letting her go around you?
Jeez, I hate that gate. I hate that gate for a red card. But I think she can come across.
Zapateo won it last year.
I think she can come across. But, geez, how's Channel Lightning form?
Good.
Really good form.
Yeah.
Number 4, Tashi.
And arguably was unlucky.
Yeah.
Like, was held up during that race too.
I think I actually was on her that race.
Probably. Alentia was in that race.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. Well, again, how's that form look?
Looks fine. Like, so there's been 3 subsequent winners out of that race. Fuck me dead.
About to be 4, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, red card, very smart. But the 1,200 metres risks, particularly from that gate. I think she comes across. I think she brings Tash into the race, if anything.
Okay. What about number 14, Solitaire? Has the Estriella form.
Yeah, she can run on a bit.
She can. 11 starts, 1 win. I don't mind her, but Tashi was the one that I found as well. But Barrier 11 was probably the sticky part. I think one of those 3 wins though. There is one, all right, if it's leaderish on the day and you want one from the midweeks that leads and has fell in its last 2 starts, at a massive price. I'm talking like 3-figure sort of stuff.
Shit.
Number 12, everyone's a star. So, yeah, we'll be looking for 3 in a row here. It could just have the tactical versatility.
It could, or it could get absolutely swamped at the end of the race. But you chuck it in your quad if you want, drifters.
If you want.
If you want. Like,
now,
responsibly.
there's a couple of races at Bendigo I want to preview with you. The Bendigo Guineas.
The Victim Going Regional.
Now, I'm fascinated to hear what you have to say about this race because I really, really like race 8, 1,400 metres listed. I love this top weight. This sunshine in my pocket.
Yeah, best bet of the day.
Mate, this thing's really smart.
Guess who's in the ownership?
Okay.
Have a look. Is that one Sneesby Racing?
Mate, this is exciting.
So Craig of Sneesby Racing fame was at the Inglis Easter sales, had a conversation with one Will Bourne, who is the bloodstock manager for Kieran Maher, and said nothing beats him in that race. He's currently $6. He opened at a bigger price than that. Get on responsibly, drifters. Get on responsibly. That's all we need to say.
You know what? I'm taking a double at Bendigo just because I can in the next race, the Golden Mile. Number 3, Foxy Frida at $7.50.
Huge price for her.
Mate, she loves this track. 3 attempts, 2 wins, 1 second. Did she win this race last year?
I think she might have.
She might have.
If not, she was going around in bloody.
If not, she ran on the card or something. I
If
don't know.
not, she was going around in bloody Adelaide.
Yeah.
R&Ping there.
Exactly. The well-travelled Foxy Frida. Mate, handles any ground. She's been super in a much harder contest than this. I think she's cracking bet in this race.
I think so too. That's a great double. Going back to Sunshine in My Pocket, could we see him up here in Queensland for a throw at the stumps of some big races? Sure could.
Gives me early Ayrton vibes.
Electric turn of foot.
Early Ayrton was good. He was very good.
Early Ayrton was, this is going to be a Group 1 wait for age type operator.
And it's a Group 3 wait for age operator.
And then decided to try and turn himself into Spider-Man and didn't work out.
No, it didn't.
Didn't work out.
It
Really
didn't.
hindered his progress. You know what? That's a classic Mick Price, Michael Kent.
Mate, they have another one going around this week. Have you seen Moby Dick?
No.
So have a look at this thing's 2 career starts. Race 5 at Bendigo. So Skybird's in this race, right?
Skybird, very smart.
Very smart. She's $9.50 in this race.
Because of this thing.
Because of this thing. Now, it's a handicap race, so he gets 7 kilos off her as well. But this thing has been absolutely braining him at Pakenham. I feel like Pakenham, you could back Mick Price, Ken Jr. there at Pakenham. Because they win like 6 out of every 9 races there.
Yeah.
But this thing's really, really smart. But how many times do we see the really progressive Mick Price, Ken Jr. horses step up in grade and they underperform? So if you...
Or something just goes astray weirdly with their horses.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't want to put the jinx on anything, but, you know, I've seen a few.
Like...
Ayrton, Globe, I'm Thunderstruck.
Thunder, yeah. That's probably the worst of them. Yeah.
They, you know...
Jack Kino.
At least he nabbed a couple of Group 1s.
True.
And still had his nuts. Yeah, so Moby Dick, hey? By Tornado, same sire as Masked Crusader. Same silks as Masked Crusader. Fascinating. Wonder if there's a link there.
Yeah, I'd say there probably would be. So
Tell you what, if Moby Dick brains him here, I could see him ending up in Hong Kong. Hong Kong loves Tornado. Loves him.
okay.
So many things by Tornado up in Hong Kong.
All right.
Just next time you're looking at their races in Sha Tin or Happy Valley, and they're all geldings. Like have a look at all the geldings. They're all by Tornado.
What does Rupert Lee do? Because he's got heaps.
He does have heaps. I don't know what Rupert Lee does.
Yeah. Because like I feel like he's the type of operator who's like, thanks but no thanks.
Yeah,
You know?
I think so.
Yeah. there might be, if he's having a particularly rough season and Masked Crusaders in work, he might go like, oh, God, run a second again.
Geez, he could run on a bit.
He could, but, you know, he's probably – how much do you reckon he earned in prize money?
Masked Crusader.
I reckon he, what?
Won a William Reid, placed in an Everest. He'd be 4 mil.
Masked Crusader. Let's have a look here. Of course, there's 2 Masked Crusaders. Here we go. 4.4. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Geez, where's the pulse? Because I need to put my finger on it. Actually, sorry, I never took it off.
Yeah. All right, Queen Elizabeth, the highlight for me. 100%.
Yeah, easily.
But honestly, mate, I'm fascinated by this sunshine in my pocket. I'm so keen to see this thing run.
Oh, mate, we've just asked my crew at bloody in the office. We've been on every start.
Where's the tip?
Every time I do, they don't win for the Sneesby Racing tips. But they are very, very excited by this horse.
I'm keen to back in about five horses this weekend. It's pretty much all around the Group 1s because I've already got a really nice position there. So, yeah, I'm keen to play this weekend at a bit of a price. So it could be a fill-up for your boy.
Could be a bit of a fill-up. Geez, struck while the iron's hot for yours truly as well. Been on fire.
Congratulations, mate.
On fire.
Congratulations.
Particularly after the start of the season, Drifters, it was dour.
Oh, the source hasn't been up to their lofty heights, like not picking half the card on King Charles Day.
Sheesh.
But, you know, the best of the day has been getting up a couple of times.
That's all that matters.
2 in a row.
At least your things are placing.
My things. The source's things.
Sorry, the source's things.
All right. If you're playing this weekend, gamble responsibly, do it with Neds.
Oh, yeah.